Have you ever wondered why the world keeps getting richer, yet your paycheck feels frozen in time? Why does progress soar, while ordinary people remain stuck? The answer lies hidden in history, in markets, and in the flow of wealth. The economy today produces more goods, services, and technology than ever before. Yet for many, real wages barely move, leaving effort and reward out of sync. This gap between productivity and pay did not appear overnight. It developed over decades, shaped by industrialization, globalization, and corporate priorities. Understanding wage stagnation requires looking back to thinkers who studied labor, capital, and economic rules that persist across centuries. David Ricardo lived during Britain's Industrial Revolution, an era of smoke, iron, and restless machines. Cities swelled, but living conditions for factory workers hardly improved. He formulated the iron law of wages. When more people compete for work, wages drop toward subsistence. This cycle, he believed, was almost inevitable. If wages rose above survival needs, more workers would join the labor market, driving pay down again. Prosperity for labor was fleeting. Ricardo did not seek to punish workers. He observed natural limits. Population, food costs, and employer leverage combined to restrict pay. In textile towns like Manchester, new machines multiplied productivity. Owners hired cheaper, less skilled labor rather than increasing wages for artisans. Output rose, but pay did not. Wealth flowed upward, leaving the worker's effort largely unrewarded. Efficiency increased. Human reward remained stagnant. Ricardo warned that without bargaining power or collective action, labor could never capture its fair share, even as output surged. His law reflected structure, not cruelty. Technology could raise productivity without raising wages, a reality we still see today. Ricardo's work reminds us that labor, even productive labor, often competes against itself, and growth alone does not guarantee fair compensation. 2 centuries later, Thomas Piketty examined inequality in a modern context. He asked, what happens when wealth grows faster than the economy itself? In Capital, in the 21st century, he introduced R greater than G. When capital returns exceed economic growth, wealth concentrates at the top, leaving wage earners behind. Piketty argued that without deliberate redistribution, inequality doesn't just persist, it grows. Over time, capital accumulates in the hands of a small elite, while wages for the majority stagnate, leaving most people working harder, yet falling further behind. CEO pay illustrates this imbalance vividly. A single executive can earn hundreds of times what an average worker makes in a year. The modern economy increasingly rewards those who own assets, not those who contribute effort, skill, or time. Housing markets reveal the same widening divide. Real estate values continue to rise much faster than wages, pushing ownership further out of reach. Renters struggle and pay more each year, while property owners gain wealth effortlessly, and inequality deepens. Even as productivity continues to climb year after year, workers' real purchasing power remains stubbornly stagnant. The illusion of economic progress hides the growing divide between effort and reward, where hard work no longer guarantees a better life. Piketty warns that this imbalance is systemic, not accidental or temporary. Without deliberate and sustained policies to counterbalance it, wealth naturally gravitates upward, concentrating power and opportunity in fewer and fewer hands. Middle-class households increasingly struggle to keep pace with rising costs and stagnant wages. Gains in production rarely translate into meaningful gains in income, leaving families burdened by financial stress, uncertainty, and a growing sense of economic insecurity. Milton Friedman, writing in the mid-20th century, centered his ideas on the power of freedom and open markets. He argued that true prosperity arises when individuals and businesses are free to act, and when supply and demand are allowed to set prices without interference. He argued that wage or price controls distort markets, causing inefficiency and stagnation over time. Truly free markets, he believed, would naturally align wages with productivity in theory and promote overall economic growth. The 1970s stagflation, period of high inflation combined with stagnant wages, severely tested this idea. As prices rose faster than paychecks, real income eroded, leaving workers frustrated and economies struggling to adjust. Friedman blamed excessive money creation by central banks, arguing that too much currency chasing too few goods inevitably undermined purchasing power and fueled persistent inflationary pressure throughout the economy. Deregulation in the 1980s helped restore economic growth and corporate profits, but wages still failed to keep pace. Productivity gains increasingly flowed to shareholders and executives rather than to the employees who generated them. Incentives had shifted dramatically. Firms began rewarding efficiency, capital returns, and market agility, rather than long-term labor loyalty or stability. Markets expanded and profits grew, but workers' pay continued to lag far behind. Friedman highlights a lasting paradox. Free markets encourage innovation and growth, yet they do not automatically guarantee fairness, equitable wages, or a just distribution of the wealth they create. Productivity today is higher than ever recorded, yet median wages remain stubbornly flat. More output and efficiency no longer translate into higher pay or better living standards for most ordinary workers. The gains from rising efficiency now flow mostly upward to investors, automation systems, and powerful digital platforms. This shift leaves the majority of workers behind and deepens the economic divide between capital and labor. Workers increasingly rely on debt to maintain their everyday lifestyles, often masking the deeper issue of persistent wage stagnation. In this way, credit temporarily substitutes for real income growth, creating the illusion of financial stability that may not last. Automation and global labor competition continue to intensify economic pressure on workers everywhere, as bargaining power weakens and job security declines. The gap between productivity and pay widens even further across industries and nations. Even education, once a reliable pathway upward, now burdens young people with heavy debt and uncertain returns, further limiting real wage growth and long-term financial stability. Ricardo showed wages stagnate when labor supply is high. Piketty shows capital compounds faster than work. Friedman shows efficiency does not guarantee fairness. Combined, they reveal a troubling cycle. Growth rising, rewards flattening, and trust in the system slowly eroding. The economic machine runs efficiently, yet human progress and shared prosperity feel increasingly stalled. Wage stagnation is more than just economic numbers on a chart. It signals a deeper structural issue in how modern society distributes and values the rewards of collective progress and productivity. Ignoring this growing imbalance risks eroding the middle class and undermining public trust. Over time, it can hollow out the foundations of shared prosperity and social stability. Awareness brings power. Recognizing structural patterns allows societies to ask the right questions and pursue fairer solutions. Progress should represent more than mere efficiency or increased output. It should embody dignity, lasting security, and genuine opportunity for all those who contribute their time, effort, and creativity to society's growth. True prosperity reconnects productivity with a deeper sense of purpose and shared value. People everywhere should meaningfully share in the growth, progress, and opportunities they work so hard to help create. Ricardo, Piketty, and Friedman each reveal a vital part of the truth. Together, they illustrate how labor, capital, and markets continuously interact and reshape one another across history and time. Wages may have stopped growing, but understanding why offers society a crucial map to restore balance, fairness, and a more sustainable foundation for shared economic progress. Change begins not in theory, but in awareness, curiosity, and small actions that connect people to solutions. If you found this thought-provoking, please hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Understanding is the first step toward balance.